Welcome back to What Arty Noobs with General Disturbance. This is the 105 leFH18B2, the French Tier 5 Premium SPG that we know as Fifi La Pew Pew. You might know it as a leFhy or a leaf blower. This one is located on the north spawn of Pearl River, and it's under the command of Mr. P, and he's in the BRIT clan. Game on. Well, you may not have heard from me for a short while. I didn't put out any videos yesterday, but that's because I wasn't feeling particularly well. In fact, over the past week or so, I've been feeling particularly bad, mainly because I've got problems with my feet at the moment, which make walking about painful, and I've also got a painful back. So, yeah, I've been a bit under the weather, and that's why my replays have been a bit, I should say, haphazard. I haven't been putting out that much. Anyway, we're starting off today with a couple of games in the 105 leFH18B2, which, as you may know, actually has the initials for the gun in the title, because it's actually a light field howitzer. The L stands for Leica, or light, and FH stands for Feldhaubitze, which is for field howitzer in German. He's trying to get a shot on that T28 with the F30 gun. That's the one which has particularly thin armor, but it has an 85mm gun, which is extremely powerful. And although it's got a long load time, and he's got a hit, but he didn't get the kill. The Skoda's got the kill. Yeah, it's actually quite lethal, those T28s. If they stand off and shoot at you from a distance, then it's very difficult to stop the shell messing you up. And very difficult to get a response, because if they stay far enough away, then you can't get a shot on them. Now, the problem here is Mr. P is actually outside his view range, or his actual range. And at this moment, although the line is showing green, you can see the rescue is actually below the actual aim point. So that means that he's at maximum range and he can't get any further. Unfortunately, this Arty won't fire over the entire length of the battlefield. You have to move closer to the centre if you want that to happen. Then you can hit the entire battlefield. He's dialed that in on the Matilda now, and you can see what he did is he moved the aim point over the target, so he got a little bit of red showing when he was aiming at the Matilda's engine deck. And that's an indication that the engine deck is blocking the shell. He's now doing the same with the Leopard. Good hit. See how effective this method is. I much prefer to use Battle Assistant myself, but each their own. Some people find much more effective firing from above because they can judge exactly where they need to place the shell to go over a ridgeline. But I think Battle Assistant actually shows you the ridgeline and shows you how far you can go. Say some people have got this technique where they actually move away from looking at the actual thing that they're firing at after they fired, and then of course they look at it from a distance as the shell goes in. Now he was having difficulty there trying to get a shot on that T-34 as he moved down, and there he is again. Line him up. Good hit, solid hit there, 139. Get another shot. No, he's behind that that rock. It's very difficult to get a shot on him there because the trajectory of this particular Arty, the Fifi, is not that conducive to going over brick walls or rocks or obstacles. You can do that with the Grilla, and you can do it with the Bishop. Oh, that was that's a definite penetration. 401, which is a low roll actually, funnily enough. The second shot he fired, unfortunately, was wasted because the T-34 got the kill on the T-28. But he's now going for the Valentine anti-tank, which is basically a Valentine tank with a very good gun and a gun shield, but it's fairly weak on armor, so to speak, on the actual gun shield. So you can penetrate these things very easily, and they are open, so a shell will go inside. That one definitely hit him. No explosion at all. One more shot, please, because he might still be there. And he is, and he's gone. That was the kill shot. Okay, we're going for an Su-85, which, as you may know, is a tank destroyer version of the T-34 with an 85mm gun. It's what they came up with. Fires another one in. Can only have the 85mm gun, so it's got a kind of limited amount of damage it can do. Oh, we had difficulty there. Went over the top of him, but he might have more ease now. Oh no, he was moving too fast. He went down that slope, and when he went down the slope he accelerated, which made it much easier. Just trying to get the shot. It's difficult. You have to judge where the red starts and get it on the vehicle itself. That Valentine anti-tank has decided to go all in, and it worked. Okay, over on the other side of the battlefield, with an M5A1 Stuart, who's sitting still, spotting at our OI experimental. Now we've got a Matilda. Can he get a shot here? Difficult, because he's going over the top of that roof. Nope, it's going to hit the roof. To get shots like that, you have to change position. Yeah, that M5A1 Stuart keeps popping out. Aim ahead of him. Okay, that's it. Set the aim. There you go. What you do is, when you've got somebody who keeps moving forwards to take a shot and then pulling back straight away, the best thing to do is actually to pre-aim at a spot where you know they're going to be, and then wait for them to move forward into the target. Okay, T-34, he's got the red line on it. You notice that? It starts at the front of the vehicle. Oh! The shell didn't do what he expected it to do there, and it actually hit the ground well short of the target. And he's hugging the rock again because he knows he's safe there. We're one down on the enemy. So Mr. P, well, he's not in danger yet because there's no enemy tanks on this side of the map, but there are enemy tanks in front of him who are going to come towards the cap. Can he get a shot in this T1 Heavy? Possibly. Oh, he did! Yes, he definitely hit him. No doubt about that. Give it a go. And again! Notice how the red line starts at the vehicle, so he knows the shell is going straight through, but oh, he's moved out the way in time. He is a long way away. That's almost maximum range there. Fires another one in. Unfortunately, he is moving, so all he's doing is laying shells down behind the target. Fires ahead of his target this time, and a blind shot at that, unfortunately, hits the wall. Now he is down to 19 rounds. One shot's all he needs to take out that T-34, but he doesn't get it. The OI experimental does. But now he's going for the M5A1. Now this thing has thin armor, very thin armor, so a shell that should go through. He lets it settle, fires the round in. It misses. The RNG says no. Do it again. He must still be there. Or is he? Yes, he is. He took that shell. So he adjusted his position just slightly, and when he pulled out, he got taken out by the OI experimental. Now, going round to the next target, you can see a T-67, very thin armor. And the kill shot went in from the Valentine AT. Okay, T1 Heavy's in confrontation, face-hugging the KV-1, and the KV-1 gets the better of him. So that leaves that Matilda, you know, the one that we were firing at. We hit the house and he just didn't want to come out. What he's doing at the moment is adjusting his firing, his aim point to where he thinks the Matilda might go. I think his teammates actually are more inclined to go to the enemy cap. They want to cap out. In fact, actually, Mr. P is suggesting that. The good thing about them going to the cap is it might actually encourage the Matilda to come into view. Oh, look at this, look at this. Yes! That's a kill. Well done for aiming at the right spot. Don't you just love it when you plan ahead and you think carefully, where is that enemy going to appear? And you get it 100% right, and he pops out of nowhere, and you are aimed at the spot. And Mr. P slotted that Matilda, leaving his teammates at the other end of the map twiddling with their thumbs and wondering what to do next. It was only a second-class tanker, but it was a very good display of playing the Fifi to everyone concerned. He got a Bruiser medal for getting at least 5 critical hits. In fact, he got 14. A Confederate for hitting more of the enemy than anyone else on his team. In fact, he was hitting targets, stripping them of hit points, and then his teammates were taking them out to get the kills. And of course, he got the high caliber because he did do so much work to earn those hit points. His win rate from the game, 4,653, which is more than Super Unicum, and very nicely played indeed. Let's have a look at team score. Well, he easily got the highest damage in this game with 1,967. The second highest score was the enemy Fifi with 1,796. And the third highest player was the Matilda on the enemy team, 1,381. That was the guy right at the end of the game who he took out. He was being very careful, but not careful enough. He went back to the same spot. And of course, Mr. P was ready for him. When it came to kills, it was actually the KV1 and the enemy Fifi who did the best. They got 4 kills apiece. 2 kills went to Mr. P and to the T-34, the Valentine anti-tank, and the OI experimental. And he also picked up a Spartan in that game. Only 2 members of the enemy team also managed to get 2 kills. That was the Matilda and their Su-85. When it came to base XP, yep, that's Mr. P. 857 out of that one. 764 to the KV1. And of course, the KV1 actually did pick up Spartan and Steel Wall. I didn't mention that. So he did very well. I mean, I think that's consolation for the fact that they were at the other end of the map, twiddling with their thumbs, whilst Mr. P was actually taking out the last enemy tank. And 599 went to the OI experimental, who did get some kills with Mr. P's help, because of course he spooked that M5A1 Stuart into popping out after he was hit once, and that gave the OI experimental an easy shot to take him out of the game. So let's have a look at detail. Mr. P fired 35 shots in that game. You get 50, so he still had enough to spare, 15. 12 direct hits on the enemy, 1 penetration, only 1, and it was a T-28 that he hit, and it went through the armor. Just goes to show T-28s do have thin armor. 14 splashes, 1,967 hit points, all of it at more than 300 meters. Damage 9 in the enemy, killed 2, so there's the Confederate. 72 hit points of damage assistance. On a free-to-play account, he earned 32,253 credits. He got 16,127 from holiday ops, 48,380 credits altogether, and after a resupply of ammunition and consumables, took away 23,900 credits profit. And that's not bad from a free-to-play account. 857 base XP, 228 for this being a premium vehicle, took away 1,085 experience points altogether. It was a good team effort, but I think it was Mr. P who was really laying in the damage on the enemy to make sure that his teammates had easy kills. In my view, that's what was going on here, that Mr. P was by far the best story. You can see that if you look at the scores of the others, especially the people who actually got kills or multiple kills. They didn't score much in the way of damage. Mr. P did, though. He was working it. He was really working it. So let's have a look at the second replay in the Fifi. The second replay is ProvoBob, and he's on the north spawn of Prokhorovka. Yes, the kangaroo on the gun shield. He is Australian. It's a lovely country actually as well. Huge country. So few people actually go to see Australia. My brother-in-law and sister went there a few years back, and so did my nephew, and they had a whale of a time. It's a very unusual place, and there's so much to see. Okay, the Fifi 105mm light field howitzer, capable of 410 alpha and penetrating through 53mm of armor. That's a lot, because you normally only get that sort of penetration of tier 10 Artys and tier 8s if you're lucky. He's headed off to the west side of the map, and it looks like he's going to hide behind these trees over here, all the bushes in front. Yep, it's going to be the bushes. He's ready to go. Standard reload, 8.92 seconds. He's got 7.85. And I have to do this thing with the G key, because what happens is that with this battle assistant, if I don't hit G, you get a close-up like that. So basically, you have to pull back just to get a view of what he's actually shooting at. Now he's aiming at these positions, because these are the spotting positions, but the tree that people normally knock over to actually get the spots hasn't been knocked over, so there might not be a spotter there, or he doesn't know how to knock over the tree. Rounds out the KV-1, just zipped over the top of him. It's good aim, that's about right. That looks good. Ooh, jinxed that one. He pulled forward just at the right moment to avoid it. And we've lost sight of him, so he's guessing. I'd actually be a lot more cautious with shells to start with in a game. You don't know if you need them at the end of the game. Much better to actually fire to a spotted target than it is blind. Unless, of course, it's a spotting bush, which is what ProvoBob did, but there's also spotting bushes on other maps as well, and it's well worth keeping your ammo for them just in case. Well, he hit something. Something was there, and it turns out it was that little thing there. I think it was that Sav M43, and he hit him, and he's taken a fair chunk of his hit points off. He's lining up a shot with M8A1. Oh, the Scott, as it was called. Dialed in. Looks good. Oh, perfect. Right on target. And he got a fire. It hasn't appeared though, so it didn't die. Okay, so we now know where the enemy's spotting from. They're spotting from that bush. It seems to me that the Sav M43 pulled back because obviously he wasn't too happy about shooting further up. Now, you may notice that there are colons before the name and after the name on quite a few of ProvoBob's team and the enemy team, and that's because those are bots. Yes, I'm afraid on the Australian and New Zealand server, they can't get enough players at certain times of the day, and that means they have to use bots if they're going to give the players a decent game. People think that games with bots are easy. They're not. Bots can be very, very lethal. And of course they've got this habit of switching to premium ammo because of course they don't care about ammo usage. That was unusual. The tracer seemed to end before it reached the target. T28, it's a bot. Notice how that bot is tearing chunks out of our P26, but the P26 does get the better of him in the end. Unfortunately, that T28's way out of our range, but this KV-1 is not, and he is a real player. Fury Commander, dial in. That one missed him, but can we get another shot? Our B1's being chased down by that KV-1. Oh, but he got a nice hit there. Unfortunately, the B1's died, but I think that ProvoBob's found his match, and yes, he has, because he's now smacking the guy with consecutive shots. Come on, you can do it. Yes, into the engine bay on that one. Tracked him as well. Now finish him off. Another hit. And he goes down in the end to the M4A1, who takes advantage of ProvoBob's work. Okay, well, we're 3 down on the enemy at the moment. They seem to be doing rather well. They're 1,000 hit points up on us as well. That's a bit of a problem. ProvoBob's also blown through a lot of his ammunition. He's got 28 rounds left. You only start with 50, remember. He's looking around for a target. There is one right down the south. It's the M8A1. Just spotted him running away. And no, that's not going to hit. It was a nice thought, but sometimes when you've got a completely wide reticule like that, the chances of you hitting the target are very, very slim indeed. It's usually better to dial in fully. The only times I would say fire when you've got a blown reticule like that is when you feel that the target is about to move off and it's stationary, but it's about to move off, and you want to try something to stop it, slow it down by tracking it, and then You know, just take the chance that a tracking shot will yield some results. He's trying to judge for a blind shot. And again, he seems to be losing his tracer after it flies a certain distance. Fires blind. I think that was a good try, but again, needs to think about ammunition. He's now down to half ammo. T67. Aim, that's it, just ahead of where he's going. Usually works. T67's aware that the fact that he's under fire. He tries to get away. Again, just a fraction of a second too late. Now, there is an enemy tank on the east side of the map, a Ram 2. And ProvoBob spotted him. He needs his teammates to keep an eye on that guy, though. No sign. Go back to the Keyhee. And it's the Keyho, rather. Dies at that moment to an M8A1. And that was a bot that scored him as well. Okay, he's back again. Now let it settle on the target. Let it dial in. He is firing at our teammates, specifically at our M8A1. That's good. Just missed. Try again. You can do it. Oh, crumbs. He jinxed that one. He turned just at the last moment and dummied it. Our bot keeps trying to go over the railway line. Nope. And unfortunately, the Ram 2 gets the kill. Of course, the Ram 2 is the Canadian version of the M4A1. The Canadians built a lot of M4s. Very few of them actually saw action. In fact, there's a lot of Canadian Ram 2s still about, or Grizzlies, more specifically. If I remember correctly, the Ram 2 was actually the M3 version hull with the M4 turret. But it was all built in Canada. I believe it was actually built in Montreal. Okay, T67 on the move quickly. Can you get a shot? Close, but no cigar. Oh, he stopped! He stopped! We're not loaded, but when you stop like that, they normally make a fatal error, and he did! And ProvoBob got the kill! All because he stopped. He shouldn't have done that. He should have kept moving. I think he was trying to put something in. And we've got a thin armoured Type 95. Now, these things do make a nice bang when they go up. Get a shot on this guy. No. He's running short on ammo now. 13 rounds left. But he can kill this guy with one shot. If he can get it on target. This guy is being difficult. That's better. Okay, we've got two enemy tanks over here. Now he can fully dial in because they are being relatively stationary. That's a good hit. Now, go to the heat round for the next one. No, he's staying with the HE. Oh, and he got a hit. Right up near the centre line. We've still got that Type 95 and a B1. But we've lost sight of him now. He shouldn't have blown that round because now he's down to 8 rounds left. And there's still 8 enemies out there. You haven't got the ammo to continue doing this. It's looking really, really risky now. The thing in our favour is that we do have an M10 RBFM, even though he's got only half of his health. Oh, the Ram 2's popped up again. Yeah, he's more concerned about the B1 coming towards them. There's the B1. Okay, dial in fully, use the heat ammo, and you'll go straight through the front of that tank as if it was butter. Well, nice hit. Look at the frontal armor hit there, right next to the driver's viewports. Do the same. And another hit, this time on the side near the engine vent. Line him up. Oh, kill shot! And that's the end of his HE rounds. Now he's got heat, only heat. And one shot deals with the Type 95. Shows how powerful those rounds are. 350 alpha on the heat rounds, but they do have a lot more pen. They are more expensive though. 104 millimeters of pen, but they do go straight through the armor. That's why I was saying use one of those on the Ram 2, and the Ram 2 is going to be toast. Unfortunately, he just killed our M8A1. He fired that one blind, but he got him! Oh, he got him with a blind shot. He went behind the bush, and Bob aimed at just behind the bush, and it worked. Okay, that's enemy Arty, an M41. And now we've got a Sav M43 coming up. Oh, he one-shots him as well, and he hammer-racked him. Oh, but we're starting to take fire from an M10. We did see where we are. Now he's auto-aiming. Now, if you're going to auto-aim, lock on. But don't try to... Oh, he's running. And that's his last round. But he takes out the M10 RBFM. And there's 2 rounds. Oh. The M41 worked out where he was because he killed the M10. And the M10 saw him. And so the M41 lined up a shot ahead of Bob's track and got the kill. Now that leaves the M10 RBFM and only 2 enemies left to kill. But ProvoBob actually did score. In all of that excitement, he scored a Top Gun and got 1 short of a Radley's. 7 kills. They were coming one after the other. That last shot on the M10 was amazing. On the last kill he had, the M10. Because he was doing it under pressure. And he still managed to get it. But unfortunately, now he's left the M10 all alone. With less than a minute and a half to go. I don't think the enemy's going to win this. I think this is going to be a draw. I don't think the enemy's got enough time to get up here. So Panzer IIIJ, if the Panzer IIIJ finds the M10, the M41 might get a quick shot in, but I rather think the M10 will get the better of the Panzer IIIJ because he's got a higher alpha and he's got a faster reload. As we watch the M10 go off into the distance, love to be watching him third person or first person, but unfortunately Bob, I think he hasn't thrown his keyboard away in disgust. Oh, the M10 seemed to lose some hit points there, or did he? I thought for a brief second he might have actually hit something, but there we could just see him disappearing into the distance with only 20 seconds left on the clock. I'm pretty sure it's going to be a draw, but the M10, well, I think he wants another kill if he can get it. Well, he hasn't got a kill at all yet, but 5 seconds. And that's it. Well, that was a very, very brave game from ProvoBob in the Fifi right at the end of the game. Unfortunately, he did end up getting killed, but he put up a good show. He got a first-class tanker in that game as well as a demolition expert for blowing apart a Sav M43. In fact, that was the same one that he hit before, funnily enough, as well as a bruiser medal for getting at least 5 critical hits. In fact, he got 18. And he got a Top Gun for getting at least 6 kills, just 1 short of getting a Radley Walters actually in that one. And his win rate was 7,661, but sadly it was a draw for the end of the game. Let's have a look at the team score. Well, the highest damage in the game actually went to the M10 RBFM on the enemy team. The one he killed right at the last kill of the game for him. And he managed to get, that guy managed to get a high caliber for 2,119. Second highest damage went to ProvoBob with 1,974, and the third highest damage went to that Ram 2, the one that he blind killed, for 1,474. When it came to kills, ProvoBob got that one with 7 kills. 5 kills went to the Ram 2. 3 kills went to the enemy M10 RBFM. And when it came to base XP, well, it was a draw, but look at this. He's got 707, so he's got the highest base. So at least he's got the top in 2 columns and second in the one that he missed. And the next highest after that was the Ram 2 on the enemy team, 586, and then their M10 RBFM with 544. Bob fired all 50 rounds of ammunition. That last round was the one that killed the M10 RBFM, but unfortunately he got wiped out shortly afterwards because the enemy Arty was on the ball. 18 direct hits on the enemy, 6 penetrations. Wow, that's a lot. Let's have a look and see who he penned. Well, he didn't pen the M10 RBFM, or actually, may I've got that wrong. Yes, he did pen the M10 RBFM, the last one. That's the good guy, or the good player, I should say, not the good guy. He penned him right at the end of the game. T28, he penned him. He penned the Type 95. Of course, he used the heat round to do that. It went right through. The Sav M43, well, that must have been the Amarak when it went straight through and hit the Amarak and blew him up. Didn't pen the KV1, didn't pen the B1, but he overwhelmed him. He penned the Ram 2, that was of course a heat round when he was behind the bush, and he penned the T67. Well, they do have very thin armor, so they are easier to penetrate. So going back to the detail, he also got 16 splashes on the enemy as well, 1,974 hit points, of which 1,451 were at more than 300 meters, so fair bit of damage. About 500 hit points of damage was done at close range. 4 hits received, 2 were penetrations, 1 non-penetration, and the hit that killed him was the splash from the M41. 115 hit points of damage blocked by armor. He spotted 1 enemy vehicle, damaged 10 of the enemy, killed 7, and did 569 hit points of damage assistance. On a free-to-play account, he earned 29,758 credits, but he got 4,395 for completing the mission events, that's Holiday Ops I think, and 4,050 for Courageous Resistance, because of course he got an Epic or Battle Hero medal in a losing or drawn game. It was a draw and he managed to get a Top Gun, which is a Battle Hero. 38,203 credits altogether, and after repair and ammunition resupplying, yes, he did have to use some heat rounds at the end. You can see that cost goes up tremendously when you use the heat rounds. 11,342 credits. 707 base XP, 400 for Courageous Resistance, 295 for this being a premium vehicle, and 1,402 experience points altogether. So 2 very different games from ProvoBob and also from Mr. P, but very good experiences of how to play the Fifi. And you know, ProvoBob probably would have ended up with getting that that high caliber if only he had actually managed to beat the M10 RBFM, and if he hadn't blown, sorry, he would have got the high caliber if only he hadn't blown so many shots on blind shots that he fired early on in the game. I did say the one thing about the Fifi is you do have to be conservative with your ammo. Try not to do blind shots unless you're really certain that the enemy tank's there. Like he did with the Ram 2. He fired at the bush. He thought the Ram 2 was pulling behind the bush. He did go behind the bush and he took him out. And so that was a very worthwhile shot. But a lot of the shots he fired right early on in the game, he was only just taking pot shots and chances that there might be somebody in spotting bush. And it probably would have been better if he'd actually held on to that ammunition. And then he might have actually had more hits on the enemy later on during the game. And that might have given him the high caliber. But even so, great games by both. I hope you enjoyed those. If you did, please give the video a like. Do subscribe to our channel. Leave a little comment down below because it feeds the algorithm. And thank you for watching.